Sorry for no uploads the past few days. Reason for that is because I got fully invested and soaked up as much as I can to enjoy and playtest the ESG beta. After playtesting the ESG beta, this game has really brought back an addiction of enjoyment and a gaming experience that I haven't had in years. This game has fulfilled the longevity of suffering with Madden and college football, and the empty space for what we as a football community has always wanted in a football game. That Madden tried to do with the Superstar Showdown mode, which wasn't that great, and the arcade feel at this point with that game just is something that most of us are tired of. ESG has done a terrific job with a very well balanced and competitive game that is going to blow your guys' mind. It's a mix of NFL Street playstyle concept, but instead of a arcade version, it's a realistic simulation feel that basically blends NFL 2K or All Pro Football 2K gameplay realism with a hints of NBA 2K's neighborhood style format, as well with NBA 2K's individual player build concept, where user skills literally matters with of course a organized team that simply communicates and plays to their position role builds. Attributes really matters in this game as well to how each player's skills and roles are played. You will notice who is elite at passing or not, who's slow, who's well at blocking, and so forth. There is no actual dominant build that individually dominates over everyone. So don't expect to try to copy people's builds because it also reflects how you actually user them and how it pairs with as you play with your teammates. I noticed that some players try to copy others and they just couldn't perfect it, or if they did, then they couldn't play the same way as that person that initially made that build was able to dominate with. Just everyone has unique builds and play styles, and depending on how well your team can communicate and draw up schemes and work together will go along well, and to see how you can dominate game after game. I had games where teams were dominant at running the ball effectively, or has a great turnover defense, or has a pass game. The point is that you will face a variety of unique players alongside with unique team base play. If you try to mimic, copy another build that you aren't familiar or used to using, or a build simply out of your comfort style of play, well, for team chemistry and scheme play, it's going to show tremendously. Everything does have a balance to beating and stopping, but nothing can be too cheesy or overpowering where you feel pointless. It may feel like it at times because of how the game is going, but you have to consider, how is your team chemistry, your team communication, individual player roles, as in, is everyone playing to their position and role correctly? Are you picking formations to align your teammates in the right spots? Let's just say that you can't be dependent on AI help like in Madden, or dependent on computer assistance in helping you make a tackle or being steered towards making a catch. This game heavily focuses on user skills, and that would simply show if you're stuck in the Madden way and not wanting to learn a brand new era of playing the ESG way. I recommend to find great teammates, build a great chemistry, and communicate because that is a big key feature to work together as a team and have a variety of builds outside of just one position and learn the different roles because trust me, you're not going to be playing one build at one position all the time unless you have a good team to do that with game after game. The time that I spent testing, I probably went through at least 70 to 85 different builds at various positions and overall ranges. By doing that, it really helped me learn more than one side or one specific position, as well to the different overall ranges of comp play. It made me also realize that I shouldn't just stack build like having just a speed back or a pass rusher, only linemen. You want to have a little balance in key areas as you play both sides based on the multi position build that you make. Like I had made a quarterback build that focused on speed and throwing. When I took off and I got tackled by a great tackling and pursuit defensive build player, well, I fumbled, and it was a lot of times that happened. Then with the defensive side, I had a defensive back as my secondary position, but poor tackling, and it showed. Now, another thing about that is playing shifty small players that may be fast, but when caught, they can easily fumble. User attempt fumbles finally work like a charm based on ratings and user skill to make it happen because everyone mostly focus on small, fast builds. I have seen a ton of fumbles because that's like a counterbalance to those type of builds. Also with people not covering up the ball, but if you have slow defensive players, then they can get cooked easily by shifty backs or speedy skill position players. Yeah, it's crazy that user stripping finally works. And covering the ball mechanic matters compared to Madden, where you can strip all game and never get a fumble. And if you cover the ball, you end up fumbling. But in ESG, that matters and it works correctly. In general, it just goes to show that there's so many variety of ways that players can play this game. And it's just a well balanced competitive skill game that it's just a brand new wave on learning, and that's completely different than what we have been experienced with in Madden college football over the years. Another big thing is having different matches like 4 versus 4, 7 versus 7, and so on. It's challenging as well. You do have AI that subs in the spots that isn't being currently user controlled, and it still makes it for a tough competitive match. We haven't got to try the Pro Am or the Rec Center mode where it's a full 11 versus 11 team base, but I only can imagine how amazing that is when it's full user games. Because even in 7 versus 7, it's wild as it is and challenging. Now, in ESG, you have way more butts and combinations for special skill moves at all areas, which can be deadly once you master them with how your build is. Like, you can be so dominant at blocking and block shedding, or elite at creating separation when route running. There's just countless ways to approach and go about how you play and build players. If you're terrible at certain areas, like you may make a build that may be slow but dominates at tackling, well, your pursuit will show how slow you actually are. But if you do make a tackle, it can be rewarding, especially on hit sticks and causing a fumble. In general, you will always have something negative that will show based on what you make. Like I said, ESG has thought of everything and made a counter to everything. Skill gaps shows, and the major takeaway is that communication can go a long way when competing as a organized team. Now, they are aware of most of the issues. They have already fixed majority of them that we have play tested in the beta. There's things that they know that the community wants in the game, but probably won't be at launch. But doesn't mean it won't be in the game, but it will eventually be in the game later down the road. Now, as far as what is the hardest and easiest positions, in my opinion, well, to me, the hardest is being a quarterback, which is being able to play call on both sides of the ball, and for the most part, be a director of everything while basically being the coach. You got to know your team chemistry, like what are you guys good at? Running the ball or passing, knowing your best options or picking the right defense and calling out adjustments and alignment. I mean, hell, even just simply passing the ball can be difficult. For example, I tell people just to call out if you're on the left side or right side or deep middle to let me know that they're open because sometimes I don't see everyone while dealing with, pocket pressure and moving around in the pocket and or looking at a certain receiver, and there's just a lot to intake in this game because especially when you're playing against a bunch of users, it can be very difficult, especially when a lot of people can be good at lurking different receivers at once. So that's why I suggest people when I play quarterback just to yell out what side they are currently on the field, and I will end up just throwing the ball their way because I trust them that they are open. Now, even with passing towards the way, you gotta acknowledge if they have great skills to put themselves in position to actually make a catch. There's times where you can throw the ball and they can slightly just move their movement in a different direction and they're out of position to make a catch. So it's that specific, it's that detailed when it comes to, just passing the ball in general. You got to have that good team chemistry to link up with people that are route running and making catches, because if you're not on the same page, or you know how well your receiver can run the routes and things of that sort and get open, just simply passing them the ball can be that difficult when they make a slight adjustment movement to get them out of position to make a catch. So you got to basically be in the right position to make a perfect, decent catch or so. It's that difficult, guys. That's why I say that this game has tremendous user skills that is heavily dependent on. Now, probably the most easiest and the most fun positions to play is in the trenches, like D tackle, defensive end, guard, center, because block shedding and blocking is a very satisfying feeling when you can pull off a pancake block, or you can get a block shed and get to the quarterback quickly and make a forced fumble or sack play. It's just very interesting now that the trenches also matters. Like, I had times where, I was just getting dominated, didn't have any time in the pocket to look downfield. I was getting sacked, giving up huge yardage. So it was satisfying when I had great teammates as pass blockers that gave me time, and it made a big difference. Also, when you give up big yardage and it's like 4th and 30 or 4th and 40, so the down markage is kind of different, and it's never the same like how we're used to. Every time you pick up a first down, it's like 1st and 10 and so forth. In ESG, it's different every single time. That's why it makes it so unique and challenging just to get yardage. So you just basically got to have situational awareness as well. But that's where it comes into play that we haven't really seen done in Madden college football, especially when it's competitive, where special teams has a big factor. Like, punting the ball away is great because how difficult it can be to just drive downfield against a defense. And there's a lot of times where, you know, on the offensive side, we punted the ball and it paid off because the next possession drive for the opponent team, they end up throwing an instant interception or fumbling, and we got great field position to work with. So there was a lot of punting happening, and it did pay off time to time. Now, also, you can kick field goals, which also came in a clutch situation. So for the most part, a lot of people don't have people that had focused their builds on special teams. And when you do have somebody that has a little bit of a decent leg, it does come into clutch situations, especially to win the game. You can just kick a field goal, and it's a very satisfying feeling where, those type of moments come into play and you have somebody that can kick a field goal. But overall, after playing, every single position, in general, every single position matters. And every single position is fun to play. You just got to find what you feel most comfortable with and what's the most enjoyable position for you to play as. ESG is working on putting out great footage and a great way to present the game when it comes closer to release. That's why they haven't really posted anything in years, because they know there's areas that may be perceived as a negative reaction at first. So their vision and approach focuses first is to building, developing, fixing, and to polish this game before release. And of course, over time after release, which they're going to keep you reeled in for every exciting add-ons and additions on each update. The vision they have for this game is just absolutely amazing. This game will deliver day one, and I can promise you on that. Now, aside from the issues in the beta, I can say that I haven't had an addiction to play a sports game like I have done during the beta run with ESG in a very very long time. Yes, it's that amazing, and this game just hits different. Every player I played with and team has been a fun experience, from learning to helping to testing to competing, with everyone having unique ways to play, build, and teamwork together has shown the potential of what's to come for the football community and what this game has to offer. Now, their matchup system is what every sports game should have, or just every game in general, that has to have a similar comparison in the type of overall or level to create the best skill gap competitiveness. Like, you don't want to be matching up with players that has a better team or better overall than you, or if you're a dominant player, you don't want to have an easy match, even though a lot of people prefer that. But when it comes to the competitive matchmaking, you want to have somebody within your range level. And ESG simply does it correctly. So, for example, if you have a 63 overall build, then you will match up with players only in your overall ranges that are from 60 to 69 range. Same goes for 70, 79, 80 to 89, and 90 to 100. You would never match up with a worse or better overall players. Like if you're a 72, you won't be with a 94. This is something that creates a great competitive atmosphere for all overall gaps. 90s and above will most likely be the competitive area, but that doesn't mean that the other ranges won't have great competition as well. After experiencing in all overall ranges, there was great competition. This creates a great balance for the players that are grinding the game and not spending money. So, yes, you can spend money to make it easier to be a higher overall faster, kind of like 2K, where it's pay to win, pay to build your overall much more quicker, or like Madden's Ultimate Team, you pay for your team to be very dominant, much more quicker compared to grinding and earning rewards. But of course, those that do will be playing against, of course, similar overall ranges in the 90s area or whatever overall you ended up spending the amount of money to boost up your overall player to. Now, if you're not used to the game and end up doing that, well, you're gonna also end up struggling starting out. Trust me, that will heavily show because when we was playtesting, a lot of people just went straight to the 90s and thought the game was going to play exactly like Madden. Well, they was having a rough time. So, especially when it was like Friday, having the newbies step in, and then it was like Saturday, we had the previous beta testers come in, and the developers wanted to see how the newbies played against the veterans, and they jumped to the 90s and they pretty much got crushed by the veterans. So, that was a interesting testing experience to take into consideration. So, you got to look at just like that from that perspective when it comes to are you going to simply grind your way or just pay to get your player dominant and then start off with all pretty much the comp players and pretty much struggle because you're not really familiar with the mechanics or how the way the game is played because you haven't either adapted to ESG's playstyle or you're assuming that it's going to play like Madden when ESG is a completely different learning curve and it's much more catered to a realistic aspect compared to Madden's arcadey feeling. Now there was things that was limited of course to us on how to play and what to make and things that we couldn't experience like the badges or so. But for what we had to work with for playing was just a great enjoyable experience and it was just the best feeling that I haven't had in a while. Finally, a game that takes skills and teamwork as well being a smooth simulation football game is coming for the football community. This game will not disappoint you guys, trust me on that. Anyways, that's all I have for my opinion review from the past 3 days of playtesting the beta of ESG. Also, if you have any questions about ESG, please comment below as I will be having a Q&A video to help answer most of you guys' questions. Now, the biggest takeaway from this playtesting was not only enjoying the gameplay and with other community members and content creators and things of that sort, but we was able to actually have the developers playtest with us and have fun playing with them, and we was able to communicate with them, ask questions and things of that sort. So of course your boy made sure to play alongside with them and ask as much questions that I thought you guys would think of, and as well, things for the future of the game. But overall, to have that where you can play tests and talk about the game with the developers that created the game is probably the best experience that no other game that I know of or have play tested with has ever done that. So shout out to ESG for actually play testing with us so they can visually see all the issues and address all the issues. That's why this game is going to be absolutely amazing, because they're able to physically and visually see what the issues are. We go ahead and try to play test anything that they end up telling us to try to see and figure out what the problem is so they can end up fixing it, addressing it, and that's how game developing should be. You work with the community playtesters to make the game much more better. And ESG, shout out to you guys because that is how it should be. So, with that being said, of course, I am limited to some things I can say and not say. Also, they will have another beta playtest, which I will keep you guys updated on when exactly they will be having it, but I would notify you guys when they do. This next beta playtest will be on PlayStation 5 only, so stay tuned for more information on that in future update videos. But what I want to do is to leave you guys off with audio snippets of epic moments that had happened in ESG. It sucks that I can't show visually of what happened, but the audio snippets will let you guys know how epic this game is just from the beta standpoint and how it's going to be when fully launched. Now, I'm kind of mad that certain audio that I captured messed up because man, oh man, I had some crazy emotion reactions from the community members I was playing with. Now, once again, this is coming from about 31 hours that I had from playing it. So I have a ton of footage to shift through for these audio snippets. Now, if you guys don't believe me, well, here is the take of how long I was playing during the beta playtest. Yes, people, about 31 hours in total. I mean, Friday, I believe I played 13 hours straight, and then I ended up having like 3 hours of sleep because I was so anxious to continue to play ESG again the next day. So that's how addicting this game is going to be. But these audio moments that you guys are going to listen, I just want you guys to pay attention on how everyone is having fun and enjoying the game. Like, you don't have these type of emotions when playing Madden or college football, because in EA, you're just simply raging for the most part on the gameplay. But ESG, even on bad plays that happen, you just have like wow, ooh, all type of moments. It's all positive emotion, and that's the type of quality that ESG is going to be presenting to you guys once you get your hands on experience. Because, like I said, this game is very addicting. It's something completely different than what we have experienced over the years with Madden college football. It's just another option to get away from EA finally and enjoy something that has actual enjoyment to play. And like I said, I had an addiction to this game that I haven't had in years. I mean, I can't even play Madden or college football more than like 3 hours. And the fact that the first day on Friday, I had red eye, my booty was sore, pause, from simply playing this game for 13 straight hours. I haven't done that in years. And man, oh man, that was probably the greatest experience just from playtesting. Of course, dealing with the issues, but for the most part, I haven't really had any issues as far as the gameplay mechanics. I haven't really raged. I was satisfied with all the outcomes that was happening. Like when the opponents made like a big play or a crazy play, I was just like, dang, that was super impressive. Or I had moments where I made like a bruising back and I'm breaking so many tackles. You know how satisfying that feeling was to just break numerous tackles? Now, of course, from looking in on those moments where you have a bunch of people colliding, it's like, man, he should just easily go down. But they made it to where you kind of have those arcade moments where you got those fun, epic moments that happens. And you can't really be mad at it because aside from just that play happening, it does go back to the realistic and challenging competitive experience. So they done a damn good job at balancing everything and just making it so enjoyable to play. So guys, without further ado, I'm gonna leave you guys off with some of the snippets from epic moments that happen, all compiled together. And like I said, there was a lot more that I wanted to include, but there was some footage where it kind of messed up the audio, which I'm devastated on because some of the reactions was just golden. That's another thing that is so epic about this game is where you're able to listen to the other teammates during certain moments of the game, trash talking. I mean, because it's very heavily on communication, it just makes it 10 times better because hearing all the emotions that happen is just fantastic. So that's what we needed in this game as well to boosting up the atmosphere a little bit too. And it's just so well done. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this very long video. I'm sorry that's this long, but I had to soak up as much time playtesting over the past 3 days, and it was well worth it. And I just had to let you guys know my complete full take and review of my experience during the beta playtest. So guys, I'm going to leave you guys off with some of the snippets compiled together of the emotions of epic plays that happen in ESG. Also, for those that wondering about the graphics, as the ESG footage that you guys see here, this is exactly how ESG looks like. Anyways, make sure you guys comment down any questions that you have, and I will answer them in the next video. Stay tuned for any more updates. Till next time, I'll see you guys later. I'm out. Peace.
Oh, that's my fault.
Good. No, that's all right. There you go. Let's go. How's it? I try to get a cookie too. I get you blocked. No.
Fumble. No.
Come on.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, that's right.
I'm gone.
Go.
I'm gone. I don't know how I recovered it.
Yes, let's go.
And go to edit. And when you edit him, now you could actually.
There you go. Go, big boy.
This is fire.
Whoever got that quarterback.
What a throw, bro.
Good ball.
Ooh.
Hey, that was
Good
a
deflection.
nasty ass fucking throw. I don't know whoever I just played. That quarterback.
Get his ass. Oh, it's fat bastard.
Break it. Look at this.
This fat bastard just broke like 8 tackles.
Pancake, boy.
That old lineman, that first old lineman, I saw you. That user control lineman, I saw you. That was really good blocking.
Pick. That's another pick.
Oh, I see it. It's the interception on my shit.
Come that way. Oh.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's my fault, guys.
Give me that shit!
Oh, what?
I got no hand. I'm a fucking lineman.
Wait.
Oh, good shit. Good
I
dodge.
know.
Oh, miraculous catch. Yeah, somebody one-handed that John.
Oh, that's blur, though.
Give me
That's
those.
Oh, one hand.
No. Good dog.
That's what I'm talking about, yo. Don't run this ball. Ray running the ball.
Give me
Yo.
the-
Come on,
I
climb
like
with
it. I like it.
Good
Oh. Block for him.
Take
There
off.
you go.
I put that nigga on his ass.
Right.
Go, great play call. That's a great play call.
That was a great call. That
There
was
you
a
go,
great call.
coach.
I'm the Matt calling it up. Calling it up.
16 right here, hopefully.
How y'all boys liking the game so far?
It's
Oh,
lovely.
yeah, look at that block right there.
Oh, damn.
Another one? Oh my
Give me
god.
those. Give me those. Give me those.
Nice pick.
On the quarterback.
Come on,
Yo,
Nice defense, yo.
Hated that shit.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is fun, bro.
Nice.
Oh, look at the block.
Let's go.
Look at the block.
Get called low, bro. never mind.
Oh!
Now it was.
We got
Oh!
good lane.
Go Forrest Gump, go!
No.
Yo, these
Go
broken tackles are crazy.
Go Forrest!
see
My
Jedi.
God. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been searching for the one-on-ones. Ain't nobody in here.
Come on. To the promised land.
For the
Finish it.
game!
Come on.
Seven
Get the
nine.
fuck
Oh!
Yo, someone clip that for me. My clips aren't working.
Oh, he's wide open. In a different build. Wow, what happened there?
Wow.
Yo, that was.
Whoever the
tough.
safety is.